You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I am Matt Burns, one half of The Burning Truth, and with me, as always, is my colleague, none other, JB, John Blow.
That must make me the other half. Hi, how you doing?
Yes, it does. It does make you the other
Lovely.
half. But anyway, this episode that we're doing right now, and you're listening to us, is going to be a bit of a different episode.
Yeah, it's, we've been mentioned in the past, we've threatened to do this, but we're bringing back a little bit of variety to The Burning Truth, because this episode would probably fall under the heading of Burning Truth Gaming, bearing in mind it's not about wrestling.
Actually, it falls under the old banner of TBT Games.
Yes, because it's not about wrestling, although we might talk about a wrestling game, because that's the thing that's out at the minute. But generally speaking, we're here to just do a quick review of some Xbox games, because both of us, myself and Matt Burns, are big Xbox gamers, and we felt the need to do this. Well, at least I did, and Matt Burns was on board with the idea, because more than one game that the pair of us have played recently, individually, in our separate locations, the wonders of technology, we're not in the same place, so we don't sit around the same TV or anything. But more than one game we have played recently has fallen somewhat short of our expectations, shall we say.
Some games have fallen short of your expectations, some of them maybe high for me.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're going to mention some games that you love as well to balance it afterwards, but
yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, but the main thrust of today, I think, is, for me, it's a game which I really look forward to because I loved its predecessor, which, believe it or not, came out 11 years ago. Ooh, do I feel old? And which just hasn't lived up to the hype. And I believe you are also going to talk about a game which hasn't really lived up to the hype. In fact, which has been, frankly, detrimental to the company in question. Yeah. Brace yourself, Matt Burns may get on the soapbox later. As indeed may I.
The difference is the game that I'm going to be talking about isn't one that I've actually played myself. It's going to be actually one that I've actually been having to keep an eye out on, been following for quite some time, and you'll understand why I say it's bad, even though I haven't bought it, because they've broken a pattern that I've done with this series. That's never happened before.
Yes.
Let's go on to your game first.
But first, I would like to talk about a game which, as I say, I have been waiting for. The last game in the series came out in, I believe, 2008. Was for the Xbox 360. And it is made by Codemasters, who are the absolute fundamental kings, sorry, slight distraction there, of driving games. That's what they do.
If I'm not mistaken, if anybody here's a proper old school gamer, I believe Codemasters was the game creators of Micro Machines.
I believe they were, yes. Essentially,
just a small indication of how good they are.
Yeah. They are basically the kings. They make the dirt games, Dirt Rally, Dirt 4. They make the Formula 1 games, and they have done since 2010. So their pedigree in serious racing games is pretty damn amazing. And they also used to make a game series called Grid, which evolved out of the old Toca Race Driver series for the PS1 way back in the day, if you remember them. Yeah, and so Grid was the evolution of them. I believe the game that came out in 2008-9 was called Grid Autosport.
Yep.
And so a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this reboot of the franchise, which apparently will reignite everyone's love of a great game, and so on and so forth. And oops, no, it really, really doesn't.
Ouch. That bad.
I love driving games. I love Codemasters Formula One games. They dipped a little bit around the mid-2010s, about the 2014, 2015 kind of time. They've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, and they started to run out of ideas. But since then, coming back up to now, you know, they've picked back up, and they're as good as they always used to be, which is amazing. And I love the dirt games, Dirt Rally, Dirt 4. Fiendishly difficult, but once you spend the time, take your breath, get something rubber to bite down on for when it makes you want to grind your teeth with rage, and just practice until you get it right. So rewarding.
Wait. Hashtag Gamer Rage.
Game Rage, absolutely. So rewarding when you do get it right. The overwhelming feeling that I get, having spent quite a long time this last week grinding my way through the new Grid, is shiny, all surface, no depth.
Oh, ouch.
It attempts to be, right, a no frills, pick it up and play. You don't have to be a racing driver. You don't have to be slavishly realistic arcade style racer where you can just pick up and play. And, well, it kind of achieves that in that, yeah, you don't have to worry too much about real world physics. Subtext to that, I don't know what the cars handle like, but if you're used to the sort of Assetto Corsa or Forza or possibly even Project Cars level of realism, you're in for a shocker in this one. The range of cars is wide, the range of tracks is wide, the career mode is well thought out, in theory, in that it's not too heavy going, there's not enough that it'll take you 6 months to plough through it all. On the downside, though, it's kind of like, seriously? A championship is 2 rounds of 3 laps each? Really? Okay, it has something that certain other racing games that weren't the Formula One game lack recently, which is qualifying. So you can do a hot lap on an empty track first, and thus you don't just have to start 12th in a pack of 16 maniac AIs and fight your way through and end up with a car that looks like a piece of scrap before you've even got to the front.
Yeah.
But the downside to that is the racing is a bit pants.
Basically, I believe what you're trying to say is it's taken the genre that you love, done a bit of fiddling with it for people who are. It's trying to pull in new.
It's trying to appeal. Drivers. It's trying to appeal to a broad church, to appeal to everyone, both the kind of people who like Assetto Corsa, Forza, Project Cars, and the kind of people who like Burnout, Need for Speed. Mm-hmm. You know, arcade gamers and serious gamers. It's trying to pitch a tent somewhere in the middle, and as a result, it doesn't really score on either front, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I say, it has its plus points. The qualifying is okay because it means you can set a flyer and start at the front. However, the cars, I don't know what they handle like, but realistic is not a word I'd use. The horrible elastic banding of the AIs and the borderline suicidal moves that they pull when you do try and overtake them means that the racing is... Well, it's arcadey, it's frenetic, but as I say, it literally brought out some of the worst gamer rage in me I've seen since I tried to play... Oh, what was that game called? Since I tried to play Trackmania Turbo, I think was the last time I game raged this much.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were having to take medication for your anger.
Yes. I was. It was... not a pretty time. Not rage-inducing, yeah. heart attack inducing on some occasions. But yeah, so this game, and it just has so many little things that just, you look at it and initially, outwardly, it appears impressive, but it's got so many little things that just annoy me. I went in thinking, I'll set this up like the professional racing driving gamer that I am. Okay, I don't have a steering wheel or anything like that for financial reasons more than anything else. I'd like one. Yep. So I play on a pad. But basically, I worked it out the other day, and I think since the PS1 and the days of Toca Race Driver and all of that, I've probably driven 10 million virtual miles on racing games in all that time. So I like to think I know what I'm talking about. And so I decided automatic gears, braking line in corners only, and loads of other settings like traction control at a minimum, stability control at a minimum. I tried to make it into as close to the sort of Forza experience as I could.
Yeah.
My God, the cars were undrivable. You'd arrive at a corner, all was going well, brake and change down rapidly from, like, say, 6th into 2nd. Turn in. If you were lucky, the car would go where you pointed it, about 1 time in 10.
If you're lucky.
Make it to the apex of the corner, to the point where you're straightening up. Hammer the trigger to put your foot down, and all hell would break loose. If you hadn't got massive turn-in over or understeer, which means that despite the fact you're leaning on the joystick fit to brake it, you've either careened into the outside wall or headbutted the inside one. Basically, if you got one or the other severely on the entrance to the corner, you'd get the opposite on the exit. Unless you absolutely tiptoed through the corner like someone who has literally started driving around Silverstone, heard it's raining at Brands Hatch, and decided to drive like it's peeing it down. Unless you absolutely tiptoe through the corner and applied the throttle so gently that if you start the corner in first, 5 AIs will pour past you while you're creeping up the gears on the way out, you won't spin. But if you try and take it at anything like the speed the AIs can take it, you will spin and crash and swear and die. I finally managed to make the game playable by going in and pretty much cranking all the assists up to maximum. I left manual gears, and I only left the racing line on partial, but basically stability control, traction control, stability management, any driving aids that make the car basically, as it turns out, behave predictably, had to go up, because if you don't use them, you can't drive.
So basically, you had to increase it to the point of where I know yourself, you are an avid person who wants to be immersed in the realism and everything, and this is basically taking it away from you. Essentially,
yeah. In order to make it work how I make the Formula 1 game work, which is an immersive experience where you do the free practice, you do the qualifying, you complete the race, you have to be as precise as possible, you're rewarded for preciseness, but if you drive precisely and properly, you basically do an impression of Lewis Hamilton. Namely, you progressively and steadily accelerate away from the field, and the win feels like you've earned it. In Grid, that is not the case. You can drive like, frankly, a drunk man coming home from the pub, knocking over every dustbin and postbox on the way through because he's straight line in every corner, or you can be an absolute precision master. The net result is the cars in the pack behind will be about 5 seconds behind at the end of a 3-lap race, whatever you do.
Not good.
So the reward factor for actually winning the races is pretty damn low. Yeah.
I believe you've got that out of your system?
Oh, almost. I'm nearly done. The other thing is the tracks. There's just one little thing about the tracks as well. First of all, initially, when you first play the game and you complete like the first 2 or 3 rounds of the championship, for about the first, 4 hours of gameplay, you're going somewhere different every time. You're trying new tracks, you're trying new cars. The selection of cars on offer, though they mainly handle really evilly, and some of them have really, really weird things, like, for example, the GT3 and GT4 Porsches and Chevys and Aston Martins and things like that, max out at about 160, 170 mile an hour. The 1970s and 1980s Ford Capris and Zaxby's turbos and the cars and the Audis, the cars you see in driving games with the, like, surely they didn't make them like that 4-foot wide wheel arches that stick out beyond the body and all that, do like 210, which is as fast as the Formula One car goes. And it's just like, you haven't thought this through, have you?
Right. Now that,
and also,
is this all the bad?
No. There's one more bad thing.
Okay.
The tracks. The tracks themselves are fine. The choice of tracks is good. The choice is not big enough, but the choice is good. They've made some real-world locations. I think it's like somewhere in Cuba, Paris, Shanghai, street circuits, which are all well and good in theory. And then there's real-world tracks like the Malaysia and Formula Grand Prix track, which they are using because they've got the license for it, but it's not in Formula One anymore, so they can't use it in the F1 game. Brands Hatch, Silverstone, places like that, that's fine. But my bugbear is far too many of the street circuits are literally point and shoot. There's one line, sort of like basically time attack tracks that actually having races on is impossible because round any of the corners you have to go in single file. And also, all of the tracks in the game, including Silverstone, Sepang, Brands Hatch, the real world racetracks, you can go round backwards. Slap on the wrist, Codemasters. No. Racetracks are designed to be gone around one way. One way only. Stop it with the making me do the Silverstone Grand Prix track in reverse. It's not big, it's not clever, and my brain, which has been conditioned through like decades of driving it the right way round, keeps shouting at me, no, you're supposed to go left here, when I'm quite clearly going right because I'm doing the corner in reverse, and it's bloody frustrating, and I wish you'd stop it.
Cheers for that. Cheers for that. That was punchline. I haven't taken a drink. You hit me with the punchline.
I do apologise, but as I've stated before, listeners at home, we're not in the same room. We're doing this through the wonders of technology. So I, unfortunately, can't see Matt Burns. So I had no visual clue that he was having a drink. Sorry about that.
No, I just think that was just good timing on how you did it.
Oh, well, yeah. Like I say, it wasn't deliberate because I can't see you, but fair play, I'll take it.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
But
take it.
generally...
Anyway, is there any good aspects of it?
The good aspects, yes. The selection of cars is great. The selection of liveries that you can choose for the cars, while you can't actually set from scratch like Forza Motorsport and paint the car how you want it, for every car there is a set of about 80 different paint schemes that come under various categories, all of which have 4 colours, primary, secondary... Yeah. I think it's base, primary, secondary, and tertiary colours, all of which you can edit.
Yeah.
So basically, you can choose any one of the 80 things, and then there's a grid of 100 different shades from black to white, and then every shade of every colour, and you can modify every paint scheme with any colour you like. So the fun you can have modifying that is good. The tracks that they've created are generally original, like I say, a little bit single file.
A few glitches, so we do apologise for the inconvenience, and we're just getting that sorted out now.
Oh, technical issues, right. Am I back?
And you're back.
I'm back. Right, where was I? Oh, yeah. The amount of time you can spend tinkering with paint schemes is good. The amount of cars is good, even if they handle terribly. The amount of tracks is limited, but the ones that are in there are all fun. And you know what? The career mode works. It's not too long. I mock it for saying, 2-3 lap races isn't a championship, but it does mean you don't get bored because you only get to drive the hateful car for 2 races and then you can move on to something else in the hope that that's less hateful. So that's kind of pulling it out of the fire a little bit there.
Yeah.
But the main thrust of my review here is this game. It's such a case of, you get 2 out of 10 for doing it and for making it and making it competently, but it could have been so much more with just a little bit more thought.
So is that your rating?
Okay. Oh no, overall, I wouldn't be as harsh as 2. I'd say overall, if we're going to do it, what did you used to use a rating system before? I forget.
No. This is the first time ever.
Okay, well, I'm going to say in the sense of, is it IGN, that gaming website? They do it out of percent, don't they?
I was going to do it probably out of 10.
Oh, I was
I was
going to say percentage out of 100, but I can just knock the out zero off that, and it's the same thing. I would say everything that it does, it does reasonably well, but the graphics are starting to look a bit dated. The controls are a bit dodgy. There are lots that it could do better. So I'm going to say, honestly, 3 out of 10.
Right, okay. Okay, that's fair enough. You have ranted on. Now,
And I feel so much better for having got that out of my system, but sorry, I'll let you get a word in edgeways now.
No, that's fine. Mine isn't more or less of a game review. Mine's more or less of what I've been hearing on the grapevine. We can't officially give a rating system on this because neither one of us have played it.
However,
this is a game series that I have played for many, many, many years.
As long as I've been playing driving games, yes. I used to play regularly, but stopped around about the 2015 edition, I think.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, I made the right decision because, you've played last year's frequently. You think that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
But this one has fallen foul of the need to get a game out every year, hasn't it? And
it's not just that. It's the game that we're on about is WWE 2K20. Now, this is not knocking it because this says we can't put a proper official game review out ourselves because neither one have got it. Now, the issue with this is the fact that there's already talk of 2K21, WWE 2K21, either being even worse than 2K20 or being cancelled.
I was going to say, based on some of the scathing reviews I've seen of 2K20, you would struggle to believe that was possible, that it could possibly be worse. But, I've seen some video reviews where people have managed to film when glitches have happened, and seen some reviews that people have posted and read some reviews where they've stated all the things that are wrong with this game, and it doesn't look good.
Now, visually, the problem that they've had is, yes, that we know that, I believe, is it THQ Ukes?
THQ Ukes, yeah, that's who used to make it. Is it still them?
They've left.
I was going to say.
No, they were in association with them for the character modelling. Now, they've left and they've had to revert to other character modelling. Now, they've based it in more in-house, as with 2K. 2K have been taking over for quite some time. They've done it for quite some time. Now, speculation that there could be a possibility of next year's being even worse. It all depends on if they're able to get the funds into it as such, and it all depends on what's going to be next online. Now, I've heard some good things about the game, which is the fact that they got the story, some of the story mode. They've got the variety with the fact that they've got the women involved in the story mode as well. So it's not just, one style orientated.
It sounds like an attempt has been made to genuinely push this franchise forward, have some new ideas, incorporate the women a bit more, that sort of thing. It's all in theory really sounds like they've tried to make an evolution of last year's game. However, quite a lot of the reviews that I've read suggest they've fallen some way short.
Potentially, but that could be due to the whole fact of, the gaming models being taken away and everything as such. We'll most likely have to wait and we'll most likely give you an update in regards to this once one of us have played it, or if there's any further news in regards to it. So gaming review for this is non-applicable at this moment in time.
But I think the safest we can say is, if you're going to take the plunge and spend what is the standard amount for a game of this type at the moment, we honestly, having not played it fully ourselves, can't discourage you, but disclaimer, be warned, you might love it. you might hate it. A lot of the reviews suggest it won't be quite what you're expecting. So
otherwise, there is one more fact I can throw out that could possibly, it may sound very negative, the fact that certain people on the PlayStation, that with Sony, have been getting in touch with Sony and stating that the game is so broken and getting refunds.
Yes. Oh wow!
Now we don't know if that's still going on now as it is right now, or if that's transferred also over to Xbox as such. We don't know, but we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see if any further news. But you may still like it, because the funny thing about it is, JB might be into his graphics and everything. Myself, I'm not so clean cut with graphics. For me, it's not about graphics.
No, it's not about graphics. It's about the combination of, does the character look vaguely like the rest of it's supposed to, but also, does it provide an entertaining gaming experience? Do they react in a way do you want them to?
True,
do they play smoothly? Yeah.
True, but at the same time, for myself, it doesn't have to be the cleanest graphical. If the gameplay is good, I'll be fine.
Yeah, just to give you a clue of what you might be in for with this game, I've just gone on the popular internet search engine.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one. And gone on the website GameSpot.
Oh dear.
For their WWE 2K20 review. The headline of which is WWE 2K20 review Botchamania. And the subheading, for those of you who remember the old SmackDown versus Raw games and things like that for the PS1 and PS2, the subheading is Here Comes the Pain.
Oh dear.
I need to read no more of the review than to tell you what they think of that particular game and why. Obviously, we can't say do or don't definitively until we've played it, but it would appear that the general gist of things is approach with extreme caution.
Do approach with caution and don't go into it thinking go for the full price. At the moment, just see what other reviews are and just check up on it yourself. Look into it. There could be still doing certain updates that could turn it around. We don't know as of yet. But anyway, we've been on this topic for far too long. Let's talk some positive games, shall we?
Yeah, okay, positive games. Well, I tell you what, let's turn this around as well, because this has been very me heavy because I was ranting about Grid. Let's have some positive games that you've played first, because I know that, well, basically I'm a niche gamer. I play football games sometimes, sports games sometimes, and mainly driving games. So that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about. So outside of that field, what have you been playing that you've enjoyed recently?
For me, the fact is, and this is not me dissing PlayStation Network at all, because they have their own discount stores or anything as such. One thing I will recommend everybody to do is, if anybody is on Xbox Gold, to check out the Xbox Gold package, and I believe it's the Ultimate Game Pass. Oh,
the Game Pass that they're currently offering 3 months for £1, and then what is it like? Is it like £5 a month after that? I think
it's about £10, £15, and let me just state this to you.
Yeah,
£3, £10, £15. It's damn well worth it.
The sheer amount of games that you get, it's basically somewhere on a par value-wise with $3.99 a month for Turnbuckle TV. You will never be short of things to do. Pretty much.
Take into account, I've actually got some planning games already for future reviews, one of them being Darksiders 3, because I've completed 1 and 2.
Nice.
And it's something that is, okay, it's not brand spanking new, but I would like to finish off the series, potentially, or
of course,
get up to date.
Yeah.
Even though there is a new one coming out, potentially, but it's a completely different game. But not in the same style as Darksiders. It might be like a bit of a side thing. for the new one, but it's something that I'm looking forward to in regards to playing, Darksiders 3. That's part of it. There's many games on there. Just case in point, Dead by Daylight, Dead Island, the definitive edition. You've got Dishonored 2, Devil May Cry 5, Doom. The most recent, not the Doom Eternal. It's also got F1 2018.
Are there also sports franchises in there as well?
Yes,
like, for
there is.
example, NHL, FIFA, I'm sure, NBA?
No, I think that's under the EA packages. That would be.
Oh, no, I'm getting that confused. That's under the EA. EA have EA Access, don't they? Which is their own version. But no, there are still sports games under there, such as Codemasters Formula 1. Pro Evo is probably in there, because that's not a Codemasters. That's not an EA game.
It is. The entire Gears of War series.
If you're into that kind of thing, that's what now? 6 games for you to get your teeth sunk into? Or is it
nope.
Is it just 5?
It is actually 6 games, right? 4 of them. Well, actually 7 if you want to include the remastered version.
7. Well, there you go.
Because you've got
7 whole games.
You've got Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, and Gears of War Judgment, the Xbox 360 version. Then you've also got the Gears of War remake, the ultimate edition, Gears of War 4, and Gears 5.
So essentially, if you've never played any of those games, we'll see you in 2022 when you finish playing through all of them.
Now, take into account, I haven't even touched the damn tip of the iceberg of how much is on here. Yes, some of the games do actually disappear off, but some of them do come back on as such.
Yes.
Now, here's another way of saying how good it is. You've got Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, the Game of the Year edition, that's on there.
Nice.
Then you've also got, Middle Earth, Shadow of War, the sequel.
Yeah.
It's doing things in there that is quite unique, and it's not just stuck to one genre. And I believe that you said Pro Evolution Soccer. It's got 2019 on there.
That's pretty damn good. Yeah, like I say, it always, I believe, the Game Pass always has.
But the
previous years. Wait. It doesn't have 2020, I don't think, but 2019 is still.
However, the PES game is only on free trial, not official to buy.
Or
for download for free. But the fact is, there's plenty of games on there that are coming on and off all the time. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The fact that you can actually almost get the Tomb Raider series on there as well.
Yeah.
We're not on about the classic one.
No, but the whole series is it from 360 as well, or just the Xbox One?
No. The Xbox One version, the definitive edition, I'm just looking it up quickly now.
But essentially, you're looking at least 3, if not 4 games, all of which are made with the usual care that Tomb Raider games are made with. So if you find yourself just downloading one and diving into it and enjoying it, that's weeks worth of entertainment there, and there's 4 for you to play.
And you ready for this? The Outer Worlds.
Ooh.
The Outer Worlds is on there.
Not a game I've played, but trust me, from other people I know who are gamers who play more than one genre of game, lots of positive things said about that one.
That is one I haven't completed yet. I have been working through it myself, and absolutely amazing game, and one I would recommend just getting this package for, because if I'm not mistaken, that's about a £50 game, retail game.
Yeah.
And
you're getting
£15 a month,
and you're getting it for free. It's the same with. I remember when it first came out, they put Forza Horizon 4 on there.
I think that might even still be on there.
Yeah, but there's me. Oh, Forza Horizon. Oh, I've bought all the other Forza games. I'm going to pay. I think it was £89 for the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
When I could have paid £15 a month and got it essentially for free with all the others. Because $15.99 a month, compared to 90, it's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
It's just absolutely insanity, and it's a great package deal. But one of the games I'm going to actually review from the actual list is one that I've managed to complete, which is none other than Afterparty.
Okay, and what does that involve?
Basically, it's more story driven, and anybody who has heard of the game Oxenfree is from the same makers. Now, the game itself is, I believe, I'm just trying. Well, apologies for the noise.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you are hearing is Mr. Matt Burns playing a game in the background while he's making
I'm not playing a game. I'm not playing a game. I was hopefully getting the details of it.
Yeah, I know. We're just trying to cover for you. It's all good.
Yeah, so apologies for the slight noise in the background. It's actually published by Night School Studio.
All right.
Right, and I can also say this was actually this is how up to date this game is. It was released on 29th of the 10th, 2019.
Literally just over, what, like 6 weeks ago?
Yep. The only thing I will state about this game, now take into account, this game to buy is £15.06.
Wow.
Right? Now, the game series, one thing I will state, this will hamper anybody who's listening in, certain gamers. Only buy this game if you are over 18.
Yeah, that will ever so slightly hamper some, but I'm sure you can work out why. Adult themes, you'll lose sleep probably, so yeah.
Yeah, let me just state this. The game itself is not what you generally call very kid-friendly. It is an 18s game. The tone's obviously 18, but I will state this: it is humorous, massively humorous. Right?
Well, that always helps with a game, whether it's just lightening the tone for the entertainment of the developers in general, or if it's designed to genuinely be funny. Yeah, if it actually is and they pull it off, then it makes your gaming experience, it makes the hours fly by, I'm sure.
Correct. Now, the idea of the game is basically in Afterparty, unfortunately, you are two characters who are down below. But they're trying to escape from down below using a loophole.
Are you basically pussyfooting around saying that they're in the other place that isn't heaven?
Correct.
You can just say it. I'm sure that it might possibly offend some people, but hey, it's there. They're in it. You can't.
Right. Basically, they're in hell.
Yes. And we don't mean Milton Keynes.
And let me just state this: in no shape or way or form are we stating that is our religion as such whatsoever. But
we're just saying
the game itself is fun.
Yeah.
It's still fun.
It does sound it. It's a fun concept, and if it's executed well, then, like I say, I'm sure that'll increase the fun quotient a little bit. Correct.
And the great thing about it is the whole idea is that you are playing as two characters.
Yeah.
Marlo and Lola. Don't worry, I haven't spoiled anything. And okay, I might spoil a bit of the premise, but they're trying to escape hell using a loophole. And what's the loophole? To outdrink Satan.
That is a little bit of a Tenacious D kind of loophole there. It's not big and it's not clever, folks. Please drink responsibly.
Correct. But let me just state this. The game itself has that many decisions to make in it. Yeah. It's almost impossible to go through it on one gameplay and gone through everything. Impossible. Now, here's the best thing about it is. Now, my only issue with the game itself. Okay, graphical wise, and this is not a bad thing for me. For some people might say it's not the most graphical. It just looks a bit cartoonish. And I think, me personally, I think graphic wise, it's suitable for the tone and nature of it. I think graphics wise, it is the right tone.
Well, I think that's what counts because at the end of the day, graphics are somewhat in the eye of the beholder because have you seen the amount of people who are willing to basically look over the fact that it looks like a Commodore 64 game and play Minecraft? Graphics aren't everything.
Graphics aren't everything. And the scary thing about this is it actually works to its advantage. It's very humorous. The game is massively... It's got a massive tone, and because of that many choices, the other issue I have with the major issue I have with it is it's short. It's short.
Well, as in how much? There's not a great deal of gameplay, or
you can complete it in a day.
That, yeah. I mean, to be fair, you don't want every single game to be the kind that it takes you 3 months of continually exploring everything to play. Sometimes short is good. You get a bit of fun.
But that downside gets overshadowed by one massive positive.
That's always good to hear. Go on, what is that?
Okay, it's a downside, but they actually turn that downside into an advantage. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're scratching your head. Haven't you just made that into an oxymoron? I
was thinking that, yes, but go on. Explain how.
Basically, it contradicts itself because, yes, it's a short game, but the replayability.
Oh, I see. Namely, it'll only take you a day to play it through, but it's not something that you'll mind playing through again and again and again because it just keeps being fun. Is that what you're saying?
It's not just that. It's got so much replayability. You have so many choices in it that you'll want to see them all.
Ah, there you go.
That's good it is.
Yeah. That is a rare and beautiful thing in a game. Because most of the time, by the time you've played it through 2 or 3 times, you're just thinking, stupid choices, I don't care, I just want to finish the game.
You said 2 or 3? I'm on my 4th at the moment.
Exactly. The fact that you're there and you're still willing to play it again and again, that can only be described as a positive for the developers.
It's a cracking game. It's a brilliant... The weird thing about it is, this is... One thing you'll probably notice from between myself and JB is JB does more of the mainstream. What you'll probably find out on TBT Games is I'll probably do more of the indie stuff.
Yeah, although, having said that, I just want to tease for the next TBT Gaming, one of the games I have played recently, I think is as indie as they come, and, shock horror, it's not a racing game.
Ooh.
I know.
I'll have to check that one out.
There's a teaser for you, yeah. And it was dirt cheap as well, so...
Yeah.
If in the next edition of TBT Gaming, whenever we do that, you'll find out what that was. But, yeah, that'll be what it is. You'll be the sort of indie guy, the weird games that you might have missed, the off-the-radar ones, whereas me, sometimes I differ, next week, but mostly it'll be driving games, because... They are a massive genre of their own. There are hundreds of them, and well, I like them a lot, so that's what I play most of the time.
However, even though we have stated I will be playing more indie than my colleague. I will be covering some mainstream games, of course, as well.
Well, absolutely, it's kind of the polar reversal of our wrestling output, where I'm the NXT guy, but I do watch WWE main roster pay-per-views, and he does Raw and SmackDown. You know, it's kind of flipped that on its head, which is good.
It is, but the difference is you play more of the driving games, I don't. I'm more of the all-rounder of the two of us. But
absolutely, yeah. I'm not going to argue for 1 second I am a niche gamer, but hey, we exist. You might as well. We need to be catered for as well.
Exactly, and from time to time you may get the odd retro game from yourself as well, or retro style game as well. But anyway, the point being is in regards to this is the game itself is absolutely brilliant. The fact that there's so much replayability, and you don't know how good it is. Yes, I have paid for the Game Pass Ultimate, the £3 for the Ultimate Pass. The game itself. If I was a person who actually paid £15 and 6 for it, and this is for UK prices, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me, pound,
£15,
Great British pound sterling.
Whatever you translate it to, whether you're using dollars or euros or whatever else, it may change over time with exchange rates. But we're talking now, which is early December 2019, UK prices.
Mm-hmm. Now, for me, worth the money.
Well, there you go. That
Worth
is all you need to know.
money. Now, the humour in it is great, and when I've been going through it again, okay, certain bits may get a bit tedious, but they even give you the option to skip it on some of it as well. So you haven't got to listen to it all the way through if necessary.
So let's say if you're on a repeat play, you're on the fourth playthrough, and you're like, no, I know this bit, I don't need to listen to this bit again. You can save 5 minutes by just skipping through it.
Yes.
That's a good feature to have because, yeah, it might be incredibly entertaining and you might want to listen to the whole thing again, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
But the game itself is absolutely brilliant, and I will say even the achievements are one to be... it's fun.
Oh, that's cool. The achievements on Grid, by the way, just going back to that, there are only a basic 1,000, but I think I've got 26 of the 28 of them already. They're not difficult to get, so that is a bonus for it. I didn't mention that.
No, that's fine. But anyway, let's just get back to Afterparty, and this is my own personal rating for this entire game, top to bottom, 8 out of 10.
Wow, that's pretty damn good.
8 out of 10, and a lot of people thinking, but it's an all-star. It's not. It's for an indie game, and this is the category I'm putting it under. I would say it's more of an indie game, not a mainstream game.
But nonetheless,
if it was mainstream, it'd probably be a little bit lower, possibly I'd say about 6 to 7. But
because it's an indie game, so it's probably been developed on a shoestring by people with, shall we say, lots of passion, but not necessarily bottomless pockets.
Correct. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it's an absolute great game.
Well, that's all you need to say, really. That's cool.
And the tones of it is absolutely fantastic. There is hidden tones in the actual game, and the good thing about it is this isn't the only game that is sort of covers some of these tones as well. Another one that covers tones like this would be Oxenfree, as I mentioned before. Now, I was going to probably throw that out first, but one thing I will say is 2 games to check out: Oxenfree and Afterparty from the same makers. Absolutely
cool.
Fantastic, and one I would highly recommend anybody to check out. Either one. Well worth the prices, and if you get it on like a deal, a package, the Ultimate Game Pass or a PlayStation Network Pass, get on it now.
Get it done. That's cool.
Now, as for future plans for the TBT games, hopefully, I believe you might be doing some single episodes yourselves, and I'll be doing one myself from time to time. The odd one possibly if we have time, but the TBT game series is going to be on a bit of a... It's not going to be a regular case. We haven't got a weekly schedule.
Going to promise a new update every week necessarily, because we just don't have the time. It'll just be the case of whenever we can. Whenever we get a specifically brilliant or specifically awful, as we've been to both extremes of this week, game, that we feel the need to warn you about or say, hey, play this, it's great, whichever way it goes.
Definitely, and it's something that I'm hoping to bring back more regular and possibly bring it back as its own series. But for this one, this will be the first episode under its own new banner, TBT Games, but it will still have the Burning Truth intro as such compared to how it used to be played. Now, originally with TBT Games, you noticed that, when I used to do it a while ago, it had its own intro. We won't be touching that series, that stage anytime soon. We're just doing this as a trial phase at the moment. So
this is just basically to see if, you guys still want to hear our opinions on games and stuff. So if you are finding anything we've said today useful and positive and helpful, or if you wish to politely disagree with us, get in touch via the Burning Truth social media. It's an episode, obviously, rather than anything else, and just tell us what you think, whether you agree or disagree. And if we get lots of feedback, that'll spur us on how quickly we do another one, I guess.
Pretty much. Now, with that, we're going to go through some plugs. Now, this isn't going to be the typical usual plugs that we normally do on The Burning Truth. A lot of them are going to be reined back and, checked in. So, as we've stated, this is the TBT Games is not going to be wrestling orientated or pointed towards it. As such, we'll have the odd wrestling one to throw in there, as it could be used for a general one, potentially.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm not even going to be even self-plugging myself.
That's a first, ladies and gentlemen. That's a first.
I know. But anyway, let's just get down to the plugs. I'm recommending you check out charities like, Change for Health and Wellbeing, Mind, Messy for Mind, and Donna Louise. Absolutely great charities. Check out all the information on there, and of course, Changes Recovery Radio as such as well, which is an absolute brilliant radio show. Highly recommended for anyone, if they need any information in regards for mental health as well. But I'm not saying that all these charities do cover mental health. They all cover different reasons. We recommend you check them out because they're all worthwhile causes.
Absolutely.
We of course recommend you check out Geek of the Week. Formerly Geek of the Week, now known as Pull and Pass Radio Show, hosted by none other than Magic Mark Adams.
Absolutely, because basically they're trying to downplay the element of the word geek. They're trying to just be like, yeah, we're just people who have a deep and meaningful knowledge about stuff that get us branded with the word geek, but we're just going to try and play that down. But trust me, they know their onions, and you should give it a listen.
Pretty much, and they do talk to all things DC and Marvel as such, and it's absolutely brilliant. Recommend them. Of course, other podcasts that we do recommend for other stuff is like none other than Train Pop Culture, because they do actually cover a lot of different topics. We of course also recommend you check out Fabaloonie, which is where it's party all the time, as they do party packages, soft play, bouncer castle, magic shows, mini discos, face painting and glitter art, stilt walking, balloon modelling, balloon decorating, and fire illusion shows. Yeah,
awesome. I know. Also, on the podcast front, we recommend, because while he likes MMA and wrestling and has lots of wrestling-related guests, it's a general celebrity podcast, and the guests come from the world of TV, music, radio, and general entertainment as well. Check out Scroobius Pip's Distraction Pieces podcast.
And of course,
so many amazing guests recently.
Yeah. And of course, if you are into your wrestling interviews as such, check out Think Wrestling, which is hosted by none other than our fellow colleague Tom Baker, and of course, We the Independent for all wrestling interviews. If you are into that sort of thing, or you just want to dip your toe into finding out what's it like to be a wrestler, do check. And if you,
and on a slightly tangent like wrestling-ish link, but not immensely. I don't know if you can do it actually on Spotify. Other music streaming services are available, or iTunes, but they're the ones that WWE advertise. But if you want to find some music that you may not have heard before, that's generally brilliant, and I did this. I did this the other day actually. Find a search engine and type in NXT Loud.
Yeah.
And just look up all the stuff that the NXT. They normally have 2 or 3 themes a show now, from different artists that they try and highlight for every NXT TakeOver show, sometimes for pay-per-views as well. Sometimes just for NXT if they want to highlight a particular artist. Like at the moment, I think Poppy is the name of the artist in question, who has made Io Shirai's latest entrance theme. So if you'd like to look up some new music that has a, like I said, tangential link to wrestling, just get a search engine up and type in NXT Loud and see what you can find.
Or if you are looking to purchase your own custom-made music for whatever purpose, be it either wrestling or other stuff, like even a broadcast, podcast, whatever you want to do, I recommend you check out Kayfabe Music UK. Yes, we that is got a bit of a wrestling term in it, but they do actually do some great music. We know it ourselves because, if I'm not mistaken, our intro and outro is made by them. And
Yes.
I've also had some entrance music made by them as well, which has been recently revealed. But that is, I'm pushing this side, the wrestling stuff. I'll probably mention.
But as we say, even if you're not a wrestler and you don't need entrance music, if you just really like making an entrance into a room and turning it up on your phone, or if you've got some form of broadcast, podcast, YouTube show, any other form of media on any form of social media that you need a unique, brilliant piece of music to be the intro or outro of, there you guys.
Why not? But anyway, that's probably going to be it for the shout-outs. We recommend you check out the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. You know, it's where you'll probably listen to us live, past broadcast interviews, show reviews, merchandise, blog, contact page, and links page, which we will state that all external links we cannot be held responsible for, as we have no control of them. Of course, you can check out our social media. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. The Twitter one's got a different name and handle, which is WRESLING4THWALL. And we do actually have some past episodes of The Burning Truth on Spotify. And that's a wrap up for this week. Not this week, for this episode.
That's a wrap up for this episode of Burning Truth Gaming.
TBT Games, I'm going to say.
That's the devil. Yes.
And of course, the wrap up's going to be a little bit different. So all I'm going to say is check out your online gaming stores for your latest games, and do actually look up some gaming reviews if you are interested in check your indie games, check your retail games, or your AAA games, and check them out. We do recommend it. It's all good. But one thing I would like to just point out is be well.
Be well. And if you've got any money left from when you've been checking out all your local wrestling and buying your new favourite wrestlers merch, buy yourself some games. We can't recommend highly enough, buy the Xbox Game Pass if that is the console which you use. Whatever you do,
PlayStation Network one.
There is an equivalent, of course. But as we say, whatever you do, however much wrestling you watch, however much gaming you do, don't forget, be well, stay safe.
Well, before we finish off,
look after yourself.
Well, before we finish that off, actually, when we say look after yourself, we don't just mean it physically.
Absolutely.
We mean it mentally as well, because nothing is, the mental side is just as important as the physical side. And one thing I will like to just state to everybody: if you're not feeling okay, don't panic. It's okay to be not okay. And one thing I will point out:
it's absolutely not a sign of weakness to ask for help if you think you need it.
100%. And don't ever shy away from any help. And there's probably be more people around you that are there to help you than you may even realise. But
absolutely.
But let's just stay well, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Till then, catch you later.
Goodbye for now.